What's up, everybody? I'm Lou, and this is Metal Lens Reviews. Hope you're all doing well. So, if this happens to be your first time here, you're checking out my channel, you like what you see, thank you. Please do me that favor of like, comment, subscribe. As I mentioned before, it really helps me grow the channel, spread it to the masses, and of course motivates me to provide you guys with more content. Alright, well, what are we doing here? Well, movie review. The movie I've seen actually recently. I've seen this some time ago. Back in the day, it was hard to get movies that were foreign. They just weren't ready available like that. So actually, I got this as a bootleg. So the movie's called Viking. It was made in 2016, and I'm not sure how I came about it or discovered it. I love history, so that's one of the reasons why I discovered it. It's a Russian film. And I've been on this kick recently with doing a lot of Russian musical artist reactions. And I figured it would be very appropriate, you know. So I rewatched it recently on Amazon Prime. You can pull it up, Viking 2016. And yes, it's a Viking film, but it leans more towards the early Russian, the Rus kingdoms, and how they kind of came about. Especially this popular figure that I'm going to talk about soon, who kind of is like the lead in this. So yeah, definitely, like I said, if you've seen Vikings or know anything about Vikings, there's a whole lot of that going on. But like I said, it's a Russian movie and it leans more towards that world. So real quick, so as I said before, the movie's called Viking. Came out in 2016. I just want to give you the director's name real quick, Andrei Kravchuk. And the lead star here is Danila Kozlovetsky. Sorry if I butchered the names. I'm a little rusty with, when it comes to Slavic names in general, and my Rus history, my Russian history is not as good as, say, my Roman or Greek, so bear with me. Anyway, really enjoyable fun. One thing I gotta say about these films, especially Russian movies, they're big. Russia has a lot of land. I'm pretty sure most of this was filmed there, so you could go to like sunny beaches, like from like the coast of the Black Sea to like frozen tundras in Siberia. So, they utilize a lot of that. And, this director definitely has a great cinematography team. And it is, like, just to watch it. And they really, for a movie that was made in 2016, it really pops. It's really vibrant, They, like I said, they utilize a lot of landmass. And it's very attractive, very beautiful looking film. The CGI is a little shoddy. I mean, given the era, 2016, it's a foreign film. I imagine if this was made now, it would be, like, indistinguishable. The way AI is controlling CGI and just making things look indistinguishable from fake to reality, But anyway, that's just a minor thing, The story is pretty cool. And like I said, this is an actual kind of historic telling. Like I said, I'm not too sure about the accuracy, but I imagine, it's somewhat in the ballpark. Anyway, it's about this guy, Vladimir. His father died. He was part of this, like, kind of Viking-esque bloodline, the Rourke dynasty, and at this point they were, like, intermixing with the Slavic population around Russia. Well, I guess pre-Russia. And so yeah, his dad dies. He got two other brothers, so that's like three of them, and those two die like really, really quick in the movie. One kind of bites the bullet, trying to pursue people, falls off a bridge to his death. Another one gets assassinated, where Vladimir may or may not have been involved, and so now he gets kind of bolstered up. And throughout the movie, early on, he's doing what Vikings do: raid, pillage, and take people without permission. The Vikings are doing what Vikings do. One scene, like the opening, he's trying to convince these people to, like the guy in charge of this village, he wants to marry his daughter. Doesn't go so well because he's like not as purebred as his two brothers. His mother was like a housemaid, so they give him shit about that. So Vladimir's like, so what? My dad was, a boss man. Why can't he take me seriously? So they take this little fortress by force and in a drunken rage, because like Vikings had berserkers, which were like Vikings that would get high, put on bare skin and just charge through it. So he gets all high and loopy. I'm not even sure if he's aware of the things he does. Anyway, long story short, that's just like, we're like 20 minutes in, I think, of the film. It's a 2 hour long movie, by the way, so make sure you got some time on your hands. But it doesn't really get boring. Even like the dialogue, like I said, just it's a big film, and they utilize a lot of it, a lot of landmass and buildings, and they get, I guess, the clothing right too. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but it matched up from the stuff I'm normally seeing. And one of my favorite groups is actually mentioned and kind of plays into the plot points of this film: the Byzantines, the Eastern Romans, which they call Romans in this film. So anyway, Vladimir, he's got a big ego now. He's quote unquote a prince, and he goes to Kiev, which is like this, like the big deal. This is like where it's like, think of it as like a capital. Whereas his brother that was assassinated kind of ruled. So he kind of goes in there, and it's just literally like walking through the door, no resistance. Some people loyal to his brother booked it with like all the money that belonged to this really really big fortress city, I should say, Kiev, and they start like this this war pretty much. So these people that were loyal to his brother are pretty much like, no, fuck you, we don't recognize you, leave, or we're gonna do whatever we can to take back the city. And Vladimir's like, all right, fine, bring it. I'm legitimate. Come on. I got people to back me up. And it goes back and forth pretty much. There's another group of people in historic time, the Pechenegs, which were like these Central Asian group of people, horseback riders, farmers, warriors. They're part of the Turkish society, whatever. I'm going to bore you guys to death with all the historic facts I actually know, so be prepared. But so these people that don't recognize Vladimir team up with these guys, the Pechenegs, and they do like these surprise attacks here and there. Meanwhile, he's trying to consolidate this village, and one of his brother's ex-wives, Irina, who's a Christian. He's trying to figure her out. She's pregnant. And he's like, no, we're going to keep you here. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. And it's a little more character development between these two characters. Irina's very strange. She carries a book with her, which I'm assuming is the Bible. And this is all alien. Because remember, the Vikings up until this point were all pagans. And they believe in, like, especially like the Rus Vikings. So it's like a different thing. So normally Vikings, Thor, Freya. Well, these guys, similar gods, but just different perspectives. So think of like Perun, Valves. I hope I'm saying that right. These were, Slavic interpretations of like Viking gods. God of thunder, god of war, yada yada yada. So anyway, he tries to establish that in there, and it gets really weird. So, like I said, he's going back and forth with these battles. But you could tell something's not sitting right with him. And someone that actually wins one of the battles for him is a Christian. And, he's kind of like unsure about it. And while all this is going on, like the pagan druids or whatever are having like festivals and shit. And the Christians are like very uncomfortable. So, it leads up to this mess where this one warrior and his son actually die because these pagans want to sacrifice this dude's kid. And it's a mess. And Vladimir's like, what the fuck is going on? I got bigger issues to deal with, and these people are like ruining shit. So long story short, we get a new player. The Byzantines kind of arrive. There's like an emissary, and they're like, listen, we got a problem. The guys that are fighting against you are also holed up in some rebel base that's in like another part, like Kherson, which is in, I think, modern day Ukraine right now. And they make a deal. They're like, hey, if you help us out, we'll fund you, pretty much. And so he's like, yeah, but meanwhile, like, this girl Irina is like kind of teaching him, the way of Christianity a little bit. So she shows him a bracelet. It has Anna on it, like in Greek, and Anna means like God's gift or something in Greek, I think. And he's like, oh, interesting, And so the Romans are like showing off these like these really expensive looking Byzantine Greek art, or whatever, and he sees the emperor's face is like carved on this looks like a plate, and next to him is like his sister Anna, and he's like, "Oh, Anna, I know that name," and he tells like the Romans, like, hey, I'll do what you say if you bring her here so I can marry her. And the guys are like, "You're nuts, what?" So he somehow he convinces them, and so now it becomes like a tit for tat. So every time these band of rebels that were loyal to Vladimir's brother who died, it's a lot of battle stuff, a lot of different plot points. But at the end of the day, Vladimir winds up triumphing and becoming victorious, and even doing a favor for the Romans, taking this rebel city that I mentioned earlier. And so this is where the movie kind of turns, and there's like a religious aspect too, because remember, they're all pagan up to this point. And he goes to like confession in this really enormous Orthodox church, and the priest there like makes him confess all his sins. He breaks down crying, and he gets not just favor from the Roman emperor, the Byzantine emperor. Him and his people decide to convert to this new faith, Christianity, and that's kind of like the end game there. But all in all, I know that was a lot of information. I'm sorry, but it's a good movie, especially if you like these adventurous action movies. We're used to stuff like Gladiator, Troy, Black Hawk Down. Think of those big grandiose movies, and it has that epicness to it, just in Russian, and the way they interpret certain things, it might be different to a Western audience. Like I said, there's definitely a religious aspect here under the layers. So, face value, it looks like a regular Viking movie, but like I said, there's layers. There's a message here. All in all, awesome. I thought it was great. Like I said, the attention to detail, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not familiar with that kind of part of the world's history that much. But, from what I do know, it looked pretty historical accurate. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments what the movie got right and what it didn't. Obviously, movies have to be exaggerated because, after all, they are movies. They have to be entertaining. But, I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought it was cool. It was a different perspective on a different set of Vikings you normally wouldn't come across, and maybe it was not that much touched on, like in other Viking movies that you might have seen or grown up with. But all in all, I think it's definitely worth a look, and you could watch it for free if you got Prime. I think it's even on Tubi, So, anyway, long story short, that's Vikings in a nutshell. Like I said, it's at some point, like I said, Vladimir and his flock all wind up getting baptized in I think it's like a river that's in or around Russia, Belarus, I believe. They all get converted to Orthodox Christianity, which was like the Greek version. So that's a story how Rus Vikings became Russians, or close to it. Anyway, like I said, there's action, there's story, there's drama. It has everything you would normally want in a action movie. It's just it's foreign, so you gotta kind of like that. Remember that aspect. It's a foreign movie. There is a dub, an English dub, but it's bad. I would say watch it with in Russian with English subtitles. I think you'll get a better enjoyment out of it. That's like when I watch Godzilla movies. I don't watch the English dub. I did, but I know better now. So I watch everything that's foreign in its native language. Because dubs kind of take me out of the movie. It ruins it a little bit. I don't mind, looking up and, seeing what the character's trying to say. But that's totally up to you. But like I said, it checks all the boxes for action, drama, a little bit of romance, and, has a nice twist here and there. So, and if you're a history buff, I think you'll get a kick out of it too. And like I said, I'm happy. This included a lot of people. You got Vikings. You got, the Rus people of the area, the early Russians. You got the Byzantines for a little bit, which I was thrilled about. But all in all, I think, yeah, definitely a movie. If you're looking for something different, if you're into Vikings, you want to see them in a different aspect, definitely check out Vikings 2016. I'll leave a link, like the IMDb, in case you want to, check out the trailer or whatever yourself. But yeah, give it a watch if you're not doing nothing. Remember, it's 2 hours long, so just keep that in mind. Alright, guys. Well, there you have it. That's my review. If you made this far in the video, thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, my friends, I'll see you all very, very soon. Peace.